bouts, like about like Marlon.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I think Marlon is a dog. He presses forward. He's a very rooted fighter. His feet are usually on the floor, so he's able to get shots off really quickly. Hits people good on exits, hits people good on entrances. Um, doesn't mix it up a ton. Uh, Definitely kickboxing is his biggest attribute, along with being very durable and just like having a hell of a will to win. And yeah, I'm excited to fight him, man. I mean, what's more exciting than two kickboxers, some of the best kickboxers in the division going at it?
Yeah. Do you think this is a fight where you can win almost on volume, right? Because we see sometimes he'll just kind of take a little chill until the very end of the round and then he'll explode with some heavy power, whereas you like to keep active, stick and move. Do you think this is a fight where you can win based on volume?
Yeah, potentially. I mean, like the operating system doesn't really change. Like their mistakes just kind of change, or their openings kind of change. So I think having like a really good style means winning most of the minutes. And then if like big shot lands or they give up a submission or whatever, and that happens, then that's great. But I think that like my operating like process is one of the best in MMA, and I think that that's why it's really exciting to watch, is because I can be extremely offensive and also still make defense the number one priority, which I think is super unique and really fun to watch, and something that I've like worked my ass off to develop. So, yeah.
You mentioned his will to win, right? It's good for a fighter to go in knowing that's what they're up against. So is there points in the fight where maybe you've got him hurt or rocked that you have to be able to say, I know this guy's not just going to go away. If I put the pressure on, I need to be careful of what's coming back my way.
Sure, yeah. Marlon's definitely one of those guys where you don't like chase finish against that guy. I've fought guys with like really tough chins before in my past, and been like, well, if they fall over, cool. But like let's not exert a ton of energy trying to finish a guy that's going to be majorly tough to finish. So that, but also like yeah, his will to win just adds like another level of excitement for me too. I think that I'm a quiet guy. Like I'm humble. Like I don't really dig like a lot of the attention like I think maybe other people do, which is fine. But I express myself a lot in the cage, and I like expressing that piece of me. Like I like looking back and like watching the Jan fight and the Song fight before the fifth round, and like knowing that like that's in my heart. Like that's one of the most fun things for me in this sport, is just being able to express that piece of me, because I don't really do it in everyday life.
You mentioned that you don't necessarily like the attention like that. A couple of guys fighting for the title in May do like the attention.
Yeah.
Is there any sort of part of you that like, oh wow, Cejudo just gets to walk back in here straight to a title shot? Or you're like, I get it, I understand that's a marketable fight in theory. But how are your thoughts on that fight?
Yeah, I guess I only have an opinion about the next person fighting for a title if I'm in competition with them for fighting for the title, which
Right.
I'm kind of not right now. That's really the only time that I have an opinion. As far as like them wanting a ton of attention and all of that, I don't really judge people. Like their path is their path, and they got to deal with the consequences that they got to deal with, just like I do. There's different styles of living. I think that theirs are a little bit annoying sometimes, but that's just me. I don't want to be like if the whole world was like me, quiet and whatever, like it'd be a boring ass world, and I know that. So I'm cool with it. Those guys, like they're a very integral part of the MMA sport.
Yeah. You never think about mixing it up, bringing out the pillows and throwing them.
Yeah. Just dressing like Kamaru Usman or something.
That'd be cool. I'd like to see that change.
Yeah, I think I'm a little bit too pasty for all that. Yeah.
Hey, Cory. Luke Lawlin here with the Express News. You and Marlon were supposed to fight, a little over a month ago. Has there been any change in your training, or what have you been doing the last, 4 weeks?
Actually, I feel like I got like a lot better in those last 4 weeks. Training for me is year round. Like I don't have hobbies. I don't like go and do things. I like camping, but I can really only do that for like a night or two before I get really bored. This is like everything that I do, man. So the only thing that changes from camp to like normal life is just how hard I push. So I just took like a little bit of a down week that week, and then I just jumped right back into training. And I'm actually really grateful that I got those 4 extra weeks, because I really do think that I like figured some shit out, but I kind of always feel like I'm figuring shit out because I'm just always there and I think about this shit all the time. So yeah, I'm like okay with it. It didn't really put a damper in anything.
Did you said you got better in those last 4 weeks? What did you see the most improvement in?
Mm, I always have so much to improve on. Um, I feel like I became a lot better of a kickboxer in the last 4 weeks. Just so I'm writing out some instructionals right now because I'm gonna, start hopefully getting those out to some people because I think that my operating process, like I was saying before, I think is one of the best, and I think that like actually me like writing a lot of those things down made it a lot better for me to like figure out what I'm doing. So that was kind of cool, I guess.
Cory, why did the fight get pushed back?
I'm not 100% sure. I think that San Antonio just needed they needed a main event or something. And I think because the fans were asking for us to be in an arena, the UFC did the fans a favor.
Yeah. Obviously, the fans wanted the arena experience to see you guys, fight live and as well as the crowd adds to the fight. But for you, do you prefer to fight in the Apex or did you like that?
I
you got moved to
hate
San Antonio?
I hate the Apex.
Okay.
I don't know if I hate the Apex more than I hate Las Vegas, but I don't like staying on the casinos. It feels like I'm in like a concrete hole when I'm in the casinos. So of course I'm grateful because I get to fight in the UFC or whatever. But if I had to choose, I would always choose to not fight in Vegas or at the Apex. Maybe not Vegas, but the Apex.
And then speaking about your rival Chito, he's someone that has shown that as the fight goes on, he progressively just gets better and better and even more dangerous. How is it training for that type of opponent? Because usually fighters, for the most part, they kind of lose steam as the fight goes on, right?
Yeah, sure. I think that Cheeto's the type of athlete, like the way that he's built is just he's built to like go for long periods of time. So um, that's like obviously expected, like he's proven time and time again that that's like his path to victory. So I just have to make sure that I'm staying really focused. I know that I have a gas tank on me too, like I think we're close to sea level here. Like I'm coming from like, 5,500 feet. So I always have a gas tank. I'm really good at staying focused. And as long as, I have those two things, I don't really foresee anything fucked up happening like in the other few fights that Cheeto had.
And for this fight, obviously you're fighting for the purse to get a victory on your record, but bigger than that, like what do you think is at stake here? What does this fight mean for the division?
So I learned after losing to TJ, it was kind of like a weird feeling, but I learned that you only get to fight these dudes usually once. Like 9 times out of 10, you only get to prove that you're better than these guys just once. And that wakes me up now. That wakes me up. So if this, like I don't care about really anything other than just beating Cheeto on Saturday night. That's the only thing that I care about. And it's because I know that the likelihood of me being able to prove that I'm better than this dude is only on one night. So I'm going to go out, fight my ass off. I'm going to do everything that I can to win. I'm going to, if I get to do whatever the hell I want, I'll do whatever the hell I want. I don't anticipate that happening. So I'm going to have to make adjustments. If a dog has to come out of me in order to win the fight, then the dog will come out too. So I'm ready to do whatever I got to do to win, man, because I know that this is my only one crack at beating this guy.
Yeah. I know you're focused on Saturday, but do you feel like this fight can have title implications? I mean, there's so many contenders right now at 135, but do you feel like if you're victorious from here, you can go on to be the next title challenger?
Potentially. I think if I knock him out with like some crazy shit, then maybe. But Cheeto's got a chin on him, so potentially. I know that that's not a hell of a promo for you guys or whatever, but I'm not a fucking salesman guy, like I'm like really good fighter guy. So yeah.
Yeah. And lastly, you had talked about Sterling and Cejudo. What are your overall thoughts just on Cejudo getting the shot? Because there's like two camps, right? Like he never lost his belt. He's done so much for the sport, right? But at the same time, he hasn't fought in a while. So where are you at on that? Are you okay with him coming in and just getting a title shot?
I guess I'm okay. I mean, I guess I'm like okay with it, but I do think that like you shouldn't be able to just like pop out of retirement and then just fight for a belt. Like that seems a little bit lame to me. You shouldn't have retired in the first place if that was the case. Um, that's my opinion on it. But I like really, as long as I'm not the one that's like competing against Cejudo for the next title shot, which I don't really feel like I am, then I could kind of care less.
I'll add one more. What are you expecting from Cejudo? Because the division has changed so much since he was champion, and in activity, that's also a factor as well. Plus, I think he's like 35 or so. Do you think he'll be champion? Do you feel like he's still a top dog here?
I don't know, to be honest. That's actually like a really interesting fight. You get two guys that are really good at wrestling, and usually what you get is like a not so good kickboxing match, which could be what it is. But I also could see just like Cejudo using his takedowns just to nullify close rounds. I think that will probably be like his path to victory is he'll just try to like score some takedowns, not really mess around too much with Aljamain on the floor. Just do that to like nullify the striking that I feel like is probably going to be pretty close. And but yeah, that's a tricky one. I have really no idea what Cejudo's been up to except for making YouTube videos. So yeah, it'll be interesting. I guess we'll see.
Are you a subscriber to his channel?
No, you should see my algorithm. It's really he pops up there every once in a while, and every time I'm like, do not click on that because the second you click on that, you're just gonna get 5 more of them.
Cory, you seem pretty enthusiastic about fighting here instead of Las Vegas. Is there any more, I don't know, pressure, or are you more hyped for this fight now that you're the main event rather than how you were in Vegas, or?
Yeah, man, I'm really excited and I'm really grateful that I get to be the main event, for the first time in the U.S., like in front of like a crowd where a bunch of my buddies and family can come. Like that really, really excites me. Also, man, just like coming somewhere other than like Vegas and Abu Dhabi, which is the only places that I've been in the last 3 years, is also really exciting. It like reminds me of like when I first started in the UFC, like we'd go to this cool city. I'd go like check out a bunch of the areas. We'd like hang out. Like it's just so much more fun going to like a new city, fighting in front of a crowd, and I get to do it as a main event. Like that's incredible for me, and I'm just really grateful to be able to do that. And I want to make sure that I come out and fight my ass off for all the people that are watching.
Have you gotten to do anything around the city yet, or see anything?
No, not yet. Probably I don't know, maybe later today or tomorrow.
Hi, Cory. What are your thoughts on Merab Dvalishvili and Aljamain Sterling not wanting to fight each other to preserve their friendship? Like, do you kind of understand that, or do you feel like Merab might be shooting himself in the foot by not wanting to fight his friend?
Yeah, I understand it for sure. I honestly think that the both of them are setting a really good example for just like people, like there's maybe things that are more important than being a world champ, like keeping the relationships that you have with people that are really strong, like keeping those, So we'll see when push comes to shove if that's really what they stick with, which I'm really curious to see. But no, man, I commend the both of them for the way that they're approaching this thing. Like you've again, I don't judge. So people in the past that have done it, that's fine. But I think that it's pretty cool that they're conducting themselves in the way that they are in like a really awkward situation.
And what did you make of Merab's performance against Jan? Because he brought in all of the pressure and, he put on a hell of a pace. So what did you make of that performance?
It was badass, man. It was inspiring. The thing that I think makes fighting the best sport in the world is how inspiring it is. It's what I strive to do when I go into the cage. I just want to inspire as many people as I can with my skills, with my hard work, with with my will, with my heart. And Merab had one of those like inspiring performances, and I think that that's great. Like even last week, you see it with Gaethje and Fiziev. It was like that's like an inspiring performance. That's amazing. And then you see like guys like Volk go up a weight class and fight Islam, barely lose. Those are like really inspiring things to me. And Merab's fight against Jan was also another really inspiring fight to me. So that's why I love this sport, man. That's what I strive to do for other people too. because I know that like those are things that like I remember, and I think that that's just like a super special thing.
And when people talk about the most stacked divisions, the deepest divisions in the UFC, they look to lightweight, and now they're looking at bantamweight because of the March Madness that you bantamweights have this month. How do you think the bantamweight division stacks up against the lightweight division in terms of name value and talent?
Oh, I don't know. I think that the 135 division has like more years in them. You know, I think that as the division starts, like I don't foresee a situation where 135 isn't going to be great in like 2 years. You know, like where I could maybe see that for 155, maybe not. But yeah, they're both really awesome divisions. I'm super excited and grateful that I actually get to be a part of it while it's all like so gigantic. You know, like that's like a really cool feeling for me. So yeah. But yeah, I think that 135 is going to be exciting for years and years and years.
Awesome. Best of luck on Saturday.
Thank you.
Hey, Cory, back here. I got a bit of a lighter-hearted question for you. I think not a lot of people are looking at this fight as the battle of the back pieces. You guys both have pretty extensive back tattoos. How do you think yours stacks up against Cheeto's?
What's on his back?
He's got his was done by Mr. Cartoon, and he's got like a giant rooster and like a clown face kind of thing.
Oh, I don't know. To be honest with you, I forget that the thing is even back there, and I got it so many years ago. It's kind of more or less like a religious piece, and I'm not like a very religious guy anymore in like the traditional sense. So, I don't even know that I love mine that much, to be honest. Someone described it once as it looks like a smeared thumbprint on my back on TV. And I thought that was really great because that is exactly what it looks like. So had I had the foresight for that, I probably would have gotten something maybe like a little bit more badass and legible. But yeah, I didn't really know. I know that Cheeto has like a black scorpion tattoo on his skull.
Yeah, he's got a big panther now too.
Big panther, yeah, those are cool tattoos, I guess too. Yeah, honestly, he probably has cooler tattoos. I'll give him that one. He actually definitely has cooler tattoos than I do.
Cory, what does the fight on Saturday mean to you? Obviously, you want to win, but is there, something bigger under the microscope that'll come with a win or even a loss? What can you take away from that?
Like, what does winning mean to me on Saturday?
Right, yeah.
Winning to me on Saturday means I just like racking up W's, man. Like, I just like racking up W's. Like that's the path to like winning the belt, and winning the belt is of course important, but I like inspiring people. I like rising up to challenges, and I like putting on really great fights. I believe that if I do those three things, the belt will happen on its own. But those are like the three main things that really excite me, in my soul.
Just kind of piggybacking off the last question. Obviously you here in San Antonio, we get a few boxing matches, not too much UFC. You kind of have the chance to, kind of pave a new path. If this event goes well, is that something you're thinking about? I guess trying to make this event a success, putting on a good show.
Yeah, absolutely, man. The more people I can inspire to fall in love with MMA, the better. Like, I think this is one of the best sports in the world. I think that, there is like trash talking and, like a culture that is kind of, maybe more or less not my style or what I would support or what I think, honestly, most people would support. Like, if you were raising your kids, you may or may not teach them to, like, talk a bunch of shit like some of the guys in the UFC do. Which, again, I don't judge, but I do think that, like, at its core, martial arts and the UFC is a very honorable path in life to take. And if I can, like, go out, fight in front of a bunch of people in San Antonio and they can fall in love with the sport the same way that I fell in love with the sport when I, went to my first couple shows, that's where I'll never know about it, but that will be worth more than millions to me.